rich friends, stop believing the lie that your 9-to-5 salary is holding you back from becoming a millionaire. Your paycheck might be the single most powerful wealth building tool that you have in your arsenal right now. The issue is that you're using it wrong. The majority of millionaires are actually first generational wealth builders. They did not have an inheritance. They did not get a lucky break. They build their wealth often while working a regular 9-to-5. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 power moves that you can deploy right now if you have a regular 9-to-5 job and set yourself on the path of becoming a millionaire and achieving financial freedom. If you're new here, welcome. I'm a CFA charter holder and finance professional, and I've spent over 10 years working in different finance roles, including investment banking, management consulting, hedge funds. On this channel, I like to share strategies and tips to help you build wealth. This is for educational purposes only, and this is not financial advice. The very first power move that you should be making if you are a 9-to-5 professional who is looking to build wealth is to maximize your income. Most people treat their salary like a fixed number, something that lands in your account every 2 weeks or every month, and something you just accept. But the truth is that your salary is not fixed. It is very negotiable, and it can be a very powerful wealth building asset if you treat it that way. Let's say you started a job in 2020 and the job is paying you $100,000 a year, and now we're in 2026 and that job is still paying you $100,000 a year. That's a problem. Even though your salary has not increased, inflation has increased between 2020 and 2026. You've been taking a pay cut every single year since 2020. Even if your salary has increased between 2020 and 2026, the real question is, by what percentage has your salary increased? If your salary is increasing slower than inflation rate or at inflation rate, you are effectively also still losing money because your cost of living could have changed. Between 2020 and 2026, you're probably a different person. Maybe you've gotten married, maybe you've had kids, maybe you've moved from one place to another, but your salary has remained the same or increased by 1 to 2%. You're getting poorer while doing the same job or even doing more work. And this is where a lot of 9-to-5 professionals leave money on the table and weaken their wealth potential. Research from the Atlanta Federal Reserve has shown that month on month since 1988, people who switch jobs more frequently higher wage growth than people who stay at the same job. A worker who switches jobs once every 3 years and increases their salary by 5% every time, over 10 years, they would have increased their income by at least 20%. That extra 20% can be a massive catalyst for wealth growth. Imagine you had an extra $5,000 that was coming into your account every month, and you are putting that extra $5,000 into the S&P 500 or into some other type of stock investing. That money alone is building extra wealth for you. And the great thing about it is that each raise compounds the value of the previous one. So if you're earning 100K and you increase it by 5%, that's 120. Increase your salary by another additional 5%, that's 5% on 120K. And many times this does not even mean grinding harder. It may just mean taking your valuable knowledge and skills and offering it to the highest bidder, to the industry, the employer that will pay you more for doing the same amount of work or maybe slightly more. This is how you're going to apply this. First, from today, I want you to begin to keep a log of every win that you have at work, every single thing. When I was working at McKinsey, and at the end of every week, you had to write out the wins, the things that you did, that you achieved that week, and what you are looking forward to achieving next week. This practice of every single week writing an end of week note, documenting my wins, was really helpful for me in achieving a promotion to engagement manager in 2 years, when it takes other people like much longer than that. And that was because I had the practice of documenting my wins every week, which made it easier when it came time for reviews and promotion for me to clearly demonstrate this is how I'm adding value to the client and the company. And many people who are not working in consulting do not do this. You wait and you just keep working, and when it's time for reviews in 6 months, you are scratching your head thinking about what did I achieve. But just the simple practice of documenting your win every single week can be so powerful. It reminds you how valuable you are as an employee. And 2, it makes conversations about salary increases, bonuses and promotions easier to have down the line. So next, I want you to be more proactive about your job. Begin to research what similar roles that you are in pay at other companies. Many times you get comfortable at a job. You're there for 1 year, 2 years, everything is working fine. You think, let's not rock the boat. Or maybe you think you're not even looking for another job, and that's fine. Doesn't mean you're going to leave the job that you are, but it's just information. And when there's information, when there's data, you're armed to execute this next thing, which is to negotiate. I want you to begin to think about yourself as an asset and negotiate as much as possible. When it's time for the next promotion, done your research, you've documented your wins every week. You've seen that many people with the same job are getting paid 5 to 10% more. The company may not have the flexibility of increasing your base salary. That's okay. Can they increase your bonus by 10%? If the company offers equity, can they increase your equity stock options? Or can they give you more time off, right? More time off that you can use to develop a side hustle, you can use to rest, you can use to invest in yourself and go to school. Can they give you money to attend conferences? Can they pay for trainings? Like, look at the benefits your company offers and negotiate different things. Can they increase your employer match? I've worked for over 10 years. I've worked for about 3 to 4 companies in that period, averaging about 3 to 4 years at each company. And for every company that I worked for, I was loyal to them. I did my best job. But always remember that your career is in your hands and you are your most powerful wealth building asset. You need to be strategic about the asset of you, the same way the company is always looking out for their balance sheet. Don't think about moving jobs like betrayal. If you are loyal to your company and your company is loyal to you, they should be able to recognize your value and pay you what you're worth. If this still feels like something that you're cringing to do, that's okay. Next time you have a meeting with your manager, I want you to ask your manager this question: what skills or results do you need to see to promote me to the next level? If your manager identifies 1, 2, 3 skills, 1, 2, 3, results that you can deliver, that they know that if you deliver this, it will get you to the next level. It's actionable information that you can begin to work on immediately to guarantee, your pay. Now, this next step is where the actual wealth building, comes in, and that is your wealth engine. 2 people can be earning the same amount of money, and one person is building wealth while the other person is living paycheck to paycheck. When it comes down to achieving financial freedom, your income is just one piece of the puzzle, because at the end of the day, it's not about how much you make, it's about what you do after you earn the income. The issue is that most people fall into a very common trap, which is the trap of lifestyle creep. This is where, as your income increases, your lifestyle rises to match your income. You've done the first step, you've asked for the pay raise, you've gotten a 10%, 20% raise, and then all of a sudden you begin to recognize that it's time for you to change your car, buy a bigger house, move to a bigger apartment, and elevate your wardrobe. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it's the silent killer of wealth, especially in high earners. You can be earning $500,000 a year and still be broke if every dollar that you earn has already been committed to some expense before it even hits your account. I have always been fortunate to be a high earner. I've been a high 6-figure earner all my life, and that has given me the opportunity to see that not everybody that earns high 6 figures is actually building wealth. Many smart, high-earning individuals fall into this lifestyle creep trap because of a psychological flaw that is called the present bias. And this bias is when you essentially place more value on the present reward and you discount reward that you can get in the long term. We all do this all the time. It's when your alarm rings by 6 a.m. and you snooze it for 20-15 more minutes. What you've done is that you valued the sleep that you're getting at that moment over the future benefit of waking up early and working out, for example. Many people fall into this, present bias, and especially high earners, because you're making the money, 15K enters your account every month, or 20K enters your account every month, and it's so easy to be like, hey, I'm rich now. Can I go and throw this next party? I'm rich now. Let me take this next trip, and I'll invest later. I already have money in my emergency fund. I'll put money into my 401k later. I will invest my bonus when it comes at the end of the year. It's very, very easy to put off being wealthy to something you'll do in the future and focus so much on spending the present wealth. And that's where the financial wealth engine comes. I made a detailed video about this in my paycheck routine video. I'll link that here for you to go and watch. But the general gist of it is the only way to build wealth is to remove yourself from the equation by automating your wealth building decisions. There are time-tested strategies that you need to deploy, right? You need to have an emergency fund of about 3 to 6 months of living expenses. If you're a high earner who's earning above $400,000 a year, then you probably want to have as much as 1 year in your emergency fund, because at that level of income, an emergency for you can be a big deal. Max out your retirement savings account. This is because they are typically tax advantaged, and so you can increase your wealth almost tax-free. Once you have done all that, you want to invest any extra money that you have into the stock market through something called dollar cost averaging. I have a detailed video about dollar cost averaging. I'll link that up for you as well to go and watch. This really is the strategies for building wealth, but the reason why many people cannot do these 3 simple steps is because of that present bias, and that's why your wealth engine really is creating all these accounts and automating them. Create your 401k account, create your Roth IRA account, and then set every month that is automatically withdrawn from a checkings account once your paycheck hits. As that paycheck hits your account every month, there should be a fixed amount of money that is going into your 401k, your Roth IRA, your brokerage account, your emergency fund every single month. When you open your account on payday, you should not see your 15k. What you should be seeing there should be what is left after you've already funded your wealth engine. The reason why this is very powerful is because of the principle of compounding. Compounding is like rolling a snowball down a hill, right? It starts slow, but at a certain point, it becomes gigantic and unstoppable. Every single day you're not investing aggressively, you are losing a tremendous amount of potential wealth, because time and compounding are your greatest supporters and allies on the wealth building journey. Now, if you do this, you try to maximize your income and you leverage an automated wealth engine, you're doing great. You are ahead of 90% of people on the journey to reach financial freedom. This is just the beginning. This is just like table stakes. The next strategy is what most financial advisors know, and they tell their private wealth clients, the millionaires and billionaires, people that have already reached that wealth level and are trying to get to the next one. And that is the third strategy, which is to become an owner. The truth is, equity is the only way to build wealth. You can get rich off a 9-to-5 salary, depending on where you work. You would reach millionaire status if you follow the first two strategies. But the only surefire way for you to build wealth is by owning equity. This is the wealth principle that Wall Street knows, and every other person is basically sleeping on it. What is equity? Equity essentially is a share of a company. When you own equity, what it means is if the underlying asset increases, your wealth also increases with it. So if you buy Apple stock at, let's say, $20 a share, which is completely wishful thinking, but Apple then goes up, right? The value increases and that stock becomes $100. What happens is that your money has literally grown times 5. That is the power of equity. The power of equity is that you own something, and independent of your time and your effort, that thing can grow. That is the only way to build wealth, because your time is limited. You can only work 9 to 5, 8 hours a day, maybe 12 hours a day. If you're working in investment banking, maybe you work 16 hours a day, but there's a limit to how many hours you can work. The next level, the wealth acceleration machine, is for your money to begin to work for you by owning equity. And there are many ways to own equity, as I said, right? You can own this share, buy a house and rent the house. The house is making money for you, independent of yourself. Own a share of somebody's business. There's a strategy out there that is called ETA, entrepreneurship through acquisition. Put ETA in the comment section below if you want me to make a detailed video about this. But this is a strategy that is deployed by private equity firms, a lot of hedge funds, a lot of Wall Street people, and it is essentially the practice of you owning a share of a cash-rich business and getting money from that business even though you are not operating it. So an example of this is, let's assume that you live in a suburb and in your neighborhood there's a car wash business. You go to that car wash business every week and you realize that they are good, they wash cars very clean and they have a lot of demand. In the 30 minutes that you are spending there to wash your car, you notice that they wash about 50 cars an hour. Amazing. This is a business that is profitable, is a cash-rich business, and is locally owned. And let's say you also notice that the company is, struggling. There is a queue of cars waiting to get washed. So this is a potential problem that this business has. And you are here, you're a high earner, you're earning 200k, 300k, a year, you have a lot of money already saved and invested. You can walk up to that person and offer to invest, let's say 30k, 50k, or 10k, doesn't matter. This is an example. Let's assume you invest a certain amount of money in that business. You invest like 30k into that business. And by that investment, you own 10%, you own 20% of that business. Now, you are not going to quit your job today and go and start washing cars. No, the company is still owned and managed by the owner of the business who has been doing a good job of managing it. But by you providing this extra 10k or 20k to that person to enable them to open a new location, to hire more staff, to buy some technology that makes them wash cars faster. And because of that, they're able to increase their revenue. Now, because you own 30% of this business, you now get 30% of the revenue of this business every month. And so this is you working a regular 9 to 5, but then every month you get income from this business that you are partly the owner of. So there are many strategies to make extra money while working a 9-to-5 job that does not involve you quitting your job or working extra hours. It just involves you using your income to buy cash generating assets or assets that increase in capital. I'm going to make a video very soon on this channel about extra sources of income you can dip into as a 9-to-5 employee without quitting your job or doing a side hustle. So if you've done all this, you've increased your income, you have deployed your automated wealth engine, you are investing in equity, then this last step is going to turbocharge everything that I've just said. And this is by changing your identity. This might be the most important section in this entire video. And it has nothing to do with spreadsheets or investment returns. It's about your identity, because the person you are right now is not the same person who becomes a millionaire. You have to become somebody totally different. And that transformation starts with the people around you and the story you tell yourself about money. You really are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And this is whether online or in person. And I'll even go further. Your net worth will reflect the average net worth of the 5 people that are closest to you. If everybody around you is living paycheck to paycheck, not serious about building financial wealth or being financially independent, and they are spending every dollar that they earn, that energy, that mindset is what is pulling you backward, whether or not you realize it or you acknowledge it. You don't have to do anything dramatic. When I say change your identity, I don't mean call up your friend and say, hey, I no longer want to be your friend because you're poor. No, it really is just making a deliberate mental shift to begin to think like the person that you want to become. And it involves changing how you spend your time, changing what you consume physically, online, through books, through movies, beginning to fill your mind with examples of people who have achieved what you're trying to achieve. Because at the end of the day, you can watch 1,000,001 YouTube videos about how to be a millionaire. Create your digital, your automated wealth engine and begin to look at small businesses. But the thing is that if you don't change the way you think about, what money is and how to make money, you will do this stuff for a few months. Maybe you try it for a year. But building wealth is a long game, and it involves changing who you are from the inside. One more thing that makes this very important is because all of us carry stories or beliefs about money. We have money mindset. Depending on how you grew up, if you grew up rich, you grew up struggling with money, or you grew up in an environment where people saw money as bad, you may have an unconscious programming around money, like it's difficult to make money, or millionaires are bad, being poor or not having money as a virtue instead of a problem. These psychological, conscious, invisible beliefs about money may be holding you back more than your income or your 401k or the market can be. How do you fix it? How do you upgrade your identity? First, you need to be aware. What do you currently believe about money? I have a video about money mindset where I go into the 5 common money mindset that most people have and how you can change it. Watch that video if you've not watched it. Become aware of the mindset you have around money. So what did you learn about money growing up? Why do you want to be a millionaire? What would having that amount of money, what would that do for you? When you are aware of this, you want to begin to change your financial diet. You want to read books about money, to join online communities of people who are also on the same journey. You want to subscribe to channels like this, watch other YouTube videos, people who have achieved, millionaire status or who have financial experience, who are sharing strategies for the common man, the everyday person, to achieve the same financial status. Learn about money, learn about taxes, budgeting, investing, create new habits around money, set financial goals if you don't have financial goals. Begin to look at your financial goals every month, every week. Begin to look at your bank account every month, every week. Calculate your net worth, right? Review your spending, compare your actual spending to your budget. You need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, learning to invest, learning to buy businesses, upgrading your mindset about money. All these things are going to be uncomfortable. You'll feel like an imposter. You'll feel like this is so difficult, I want to quit. You feel like that all the time. But you need to get comfortable with that feeling because you know that it's temporary. If you stay with it and you stay committed, there'll come a point when it will get easier, when the habits would feel natural, the system would work all the time because you've spent time fine-tuning it. And you will have friends and other people around you who are also on the same journey, making it easier for you to do the same thing as well. If you watch it to this point, I know that you're serious about building wealth and becoming financially free. And that's why I think you need to watch this video about the 5 accounts that you need to have if you're serious about building wealth. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.